Dawn's not here, is that?
No, Dawn's not here. Hello, hi, Matt. Well, welcome to the April meeting of the Environmental Advisory Committee. We'll now call it to order. Any questions, comments, changes to the minutes from last month?
No.
Dave, I think you had sent a comment in. That's all I saw, so do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, all in favor of approving? Aye.
Aye.
Right, thank you. Project updates, discussion items. Dave, you're up. This is
Litter.
your big month.
I eat, sleep, and drink litter this month. It's pretty bad.
It's true.
Anyway, we a little group, just for the record, we met with the town manager, Brian and Sandy on March 20th. We met with Senator Williams and Lindsay Williams and her aide Megan on March 23rd and had some good meetings there. Mostly talking about the state's litter action plan and some of the recommendations in there that municipalities and the state legislature are hopefully working toward. So maybe more important, the litter pickup. We've got 2 dates, Saturday, April 15th, which is this couple days from now, and the 22nd, the 15th. We've got about 56 signed up. Probably, 5 or 6 no shows, maybe 10 at the most, so probably around 50 people. And on the 22nd, which is Earth Day, we've got probably just in the low 40s for folks signed up. Shout out to the police. Chief Hawk is giving us 3 officers and patrol cars for each date to help with the traffic control and safety and that kind of thing. Also to DPW, Jeff Shannon is having the crews come around and pick up the bags, so that's awesome. Also on the 15th, we're going to focus on McKnight, Babcock, Duncan, Perry Highway, and Cumberland, I think. Jeff and his crew, all-star crew of Gary and Nate, are going to be doing the interchange, McKnight Ingomar interchange, which is our adopt a highway area. So that's thank you for Jeff for volunteering to do
You
that.
want to mention our special guest joining my group?
Special guest hopefully is Representative Venkat has signed up, and we're going to put him with Jeff in that group, and you can talk his ear off on
It's going to happen, Dave. I didn't strike that for the minutes.
about litter. I think it's we tried to find an area where there's going to be a lot of interesting things to find, so that should be good for him. I don't believe he's ever picked up roadside litter, so
You have to get a longer stick for him.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do it again.
Yeah, we're gonna use him for over the guardrail.
Yeah.
That's always a tough one.
There's a fence. Can you get?
Yeah.
Lean over there. Next week on the 22nd, we're trying to get the McKnight Perry Highway interchange, which is over there by Target, up the hills to Wexford, the Wexford Flats. We'd also try to like to try to get Highland Ave. We've never picked up on Highland, and there's some spots in there that are kind of no man's
Need
land.
the cop for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
it's very dangerous road.
Yeah. Just a question. There's a gate on Highland. What is that? Is that like similar to the gate on Sloop, or what's
Oh,
down there? Or should maybe I stop and look at it and
I think there's a retention pond down there.
Okay. Cause I was thinking maybe if we have some folks who want to do off-road areas, no traffic. Maybe they can, I'll stop and take a look and see what's down there. Is that town land, you think, or? Is it, I'm not sure if it's private, we want to get involved, but,
I can check that out.
okay, all right, that's for
Say,
next week anyway, so no rush.
I believe it is. If it's where I'm thinking it is,
The gate looks the same as the gate on Sloop, so that's
Yeah.
why I was thinking it,
well, MTSA sometimes has entrances there,
oh, okay. All right,
so. Highland,
all right,
I'm trying to figure out where you're,
yeah, is it,
up the road from Sloop,
is it
there's a section.
after
up
you go
there.
over, say. Harmony Road,
yes.
is it
Okay, so it's down.
after the sharp turns or before?
You got me.
I'm just trying to picture it.
Yeah.
Do you know the area, Jeff? Or no,
I
you
don't.
probably don't.
I don't.
It's not your part, your side of town.
Mm-mm.
I usually don't go that far, but. I think the one I'm thinking about. No, Highland goes all the way up.
To the
on
old sheets.
The old sheets,
Yeah,
and as you go down. Past Sloop and you go up that way. There is a retention pond and then there's a piece of property back there that's owned by those condominiums.
oh, okay,
But they're gonna deed that over to the town. So it might be a decent area to clean up.
okay.
And that's where I think I remember seeing a gate down there. I don't know if it's still there,
Yeah,
but
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
town
thinking too.
property there. And then the top part of it is going to be town property.
Okay.
it's not the watershed.
We're just trying to find some off-road areas, because
Strike
basically
that
we're.
from the record. Nobody heard that. I don't think that's public knowledge.
Okay.
It could be.
Loose lips. Yeah, because we're basically. Getting our off-road areas done this week, so. There's usually, folks with kids and
There's always the
preteens.
ball fields and stuff.
Um.
And-
Yeah, we're doing Vincentian this
Yeah.
week. Actually, I never heard
Huge
back
spot.
from the Little League.
From Vincentian or from the IFPL?
Chris, somebody,
Okay, Chris,
I
okay.
never heard back from him.
Huh.
Because they probably have all of their big opening ceremonies, like maybe the 23rd.
They have theirs on the 15th.
They're doing the 15th.
That's why
Oh,
they're
okay.
doing it on the
Okay,
15th.
got it.
Yeah,
But we can get them to clean up Vestal maybe.
and just the thing is, if they wanted to do some other area, that's kind of what I was asking him. I assume you're gonna do the ball field, but. Are you looking for another area to do? Because then that's. We gotta think about that a little bit. And then the Cub Scouts are doing Potter Park, I think on the 22nd.
Is that 344?
No, Cub Scout 279. They're the ones that always do that. That's my neighbor, Matt Smith, and his kids, other kids. And obviously Wall Park is clean as a whistle.
Yeah, it is. Well, not the inside of the whistle, but well, I guess.
Yeah, except for the new stuff that's been
That's
dropped
right.
in the
That's
past
right.
month.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so that's a little rundown. Huge shout out, Nicole Farnan from the Activities Committee. I've never met her, but we've been, she's a real rock star in terms of, organizing and planning and, I'll do this, and this, and I mean, awesome. She's handling the food, drinks and prizes
Oh, wow.
for,
Oh, that's great.
for both days. So that'll be great.
So you're gonna do the full, so you have the full setup for both of those dates.
Right. I
Great.
think she's doing a little less on the fifteenth because we were kind of assuming that there were gonna be fewer people on the 15th than Earth Day.
Right.
Turns out to be the other way. She's got some food donated, I know,
Okay.
part of breakfast platters or something like
Well,
that.
maybe we can get some of those on the 15th to have such a great experience. We can get some of them to come back.
To come back on the 22nd, yeah.
So you're
That's
gonna
what you
use
mentioned.
Public Works building?
Yes, yeah, I think we got bumped around a little bit in terms of the venue, but I think we're gonna settle on the Public Works building. Matt, just so you know, we'll be in the not in this room, not in the Heritage Center, not in the
Devlin.
Devlin Pavilion where we were last time, but over in the Public Works building
Where Winterfest was,
where
right?
Winterfest
Right.
was.
Okay.
Right, and can
Okay.
I mention this date? So
Yeah.
Kathy Martin is actually gonna be at the Heritage Center, pushing anybody who didn't get the message over to the DPW. And then my nephew's gonna be up in front here of anybody who might show up here and, just obviously just go around the back and we'll be back there. So,
Right.
so we wanna push everybody back there.
We can put up signs, you know.
Is signs or, I mean, for the 10 or 15 minutes it's gonna be, we'll put a person there, a sign, it's like,
Yeah.
we'll make it as clear as possible.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
And I have to confess. Town manager mentioned it to me and I wanted to talk to you folks about it. But if you don't write stuff down for me, my mind is a steel sieve and it just flows right through. So if you have anybody to blame, it isn't the town manager who wasn't here when the calendar was made and knows nothing about all this stuff. Me personally, that everybody can blame.
And we're not blaming anybody.
Yeah, it's not a question of
Not at
blaming,
all.
it's just
And I
You know what, Jack,
felt
just,
I felt absolutely horrible.
you shouldn't, you
Right.
shouldn't, and
Yeah.
these are just growing pains in trying to, sort of, make this a better process, and where are we, I mean, that might be the best place to be.
Actually,
For
I
now
think
and forever,
it's a
so,
really good idea.
yeah,
so yeah, that was my next question. You think the 22nd? I mean, I haven't talked to Jeff about this, the other Jeff. Is that
I'll
any,
talk to you if you send me a text.
is that any problem for him or?
I think it's none whatsoever because he's gonna be using the trucks anyhow.
The trucks are anyway, the crews,
So-
he's gonna have usually two crews and
Yeah.
trucks, so, I mean, the building will be open.
Especially if the crews get something to eat.
Oh, okay,
Yep, there you
Nice.
go. There you go.
okay.
The only question I have, is there restroom facility or can they open up the one?
There's one here at Devlin Park.
As long as that one's unlocked.
That's open for,
Okay.
Is there anything over in the building in the garage there or?
that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay. Cause some people, some of the older folks like to go to the bathroom before they
you
head
take
out.
off, that's why. I asked.
a couple times.
Yeah,
Okay,
anyway,
And that's always the first, question I have before you send people off, if you can
right,
have something
Right.
open for them.
because
Cause I think I've been here, but the Devlin ones aren't always unlocked, are they?
I assume they would, if we were over there at 8:30, somebody would need to open them up in the morning, but yeah.
Hey, Jack, silly question, like ticks are huge right now. And I have, I have some tick spray that my brother-in-law gave me in this big thing. Do they have a pumper over there with tick spray or anything? I mean, is it?
These guys got you covered.
We already took care of that.
Okay, all right. Okay,
Jack and I are on the ball on that.
You guys
I
are-
got some, from Ken's recommendation on
I
the
got 3 myself.
exact product to get.
yeah, great.
I got it at Walmart and,
Okay,
so
good.
we have 2 big spray bottles of tick spray.
Okay, good.
So cool.
Good, great.
What do you do?
good.
Just on your legs? Is that
I
kind of
do
thing?
up to here, but,
Okay.
but listen, they go where they're gonna go.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
plenty.
See right there, that's today.
Right,
And I have that stuff on my pants, I don't have it on my shirt. And I was in some taller brush, so he crawled up there and latched on to me.
yeah,
You know,
and you can't bathe in the stuff, but I guess.
Where do you
like
your
it,
hat
Ken?
on your clothes?
Where do you, like, I just go right here, but,
I just basically go knee down because.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
you would know.
Well, I have 3 nice large tick bites from last time I walked the trail.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I came back and they were they were stuck in there. They were really feasting.
Yeah,
It was hard to pull them out. And I sent them off. You could send them off for free. You go into Pennsylvania Tick and you could send them out and and one of the three did have Lyme disease. But I some dioxazolin,
sure.
you take that for 48 hours and it's supposed to make
Cover
sure
you for the long.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
I think all the doctors tell me if you get the tick off within 24 hours, you should be good.
Yeah,
That's what I've always heard too.
unless you leave after getting there.
So that's a good reminder. I've got a list of, topics for announcements
Mhm.
to mention the tick spray that'll be there.
The
also.
tick spray, and then also, listen, we're, anybody who feels compelled to are welcome to come back the next week. We're gonna be doing this again.
Yes,
Just put it in their heads.
By the way, full strength Listerine supposedly works very well too. So if you have somebody that's against it because of DEET or whatever might be in it, then another option could be you go with the Listerine.
Okay,
The stuff that I recommended has pyrethrin in it. It actually
That's it.
kills them.
that's
Yeah,
that's what I have.
That's what you look
That's my
for.
brother-in-law gave me a big jug of that.
okay.
Okay.
What else? Shout out to John, advertising.
Mhm.
I don't know if the stars were aligned or we got more hits from advertising, social media, whatever. There was a really nice article in the Trib,
Mhm.
with some data and a picture of the girls. John, I actually took this picture and it says it gives credit to the town of McCandless, not me for taking the picture, but anyway.
Oh, we can let them know.
I can live with that. So we're at, just to wrap up, we're at 1,910 bags since 2018, so we will hit our 2,000th bag milestone on Saturday. Nicole is also going to be roaming around taking pictures, so we'll probably do some kind of a random person or group with a 2,000th, this is our 2,000th bag, something like that. Maybe you guys with representative.
That's not a bad one.
With
That's a pretty good one,
Representative
actually.
to,
Yeah,
I mean, because he'd probably, get that out on his own social media. He seems to be everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah.
It's hard to miss it.
It's hard to miss it, yeah. So that's it. Matt, I didn't mention Blazer, Matt, you and there was another fellow and a kid who wanted to be with you. We've got you on Blazer Drive. For the 15th, I think.
Yeah, that sounds right. That's great. That works.
And the last time Kim Zachary did that, she went back in the back of the park and ride, and there's a lot of stuff that gets blown back into that backside of the park and ride. So if you want to send one or two of you back there to scope that out, that'd be cool too.
Yeah, I did that with the group last year too.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And they brought whole bags of old clothes up from like the little creek behind the park and ride.
Yeah, that's a real dumping area
That's where we
back
got the
there.
car parts.
Oh,
from
okay,
The bend,
okay,
a bunch of car parts out of that.
right.
Couple of wrecks back there.
Um,
So, yeah, we were busy on that one.
So just wanted to touch base with Matt on that. Because it's gonna be crazy Saturday morning, so.
Yeah,
If you-
is there any? I'm guessing some of the reasons for places we're not using in the area are because they're being occupied by other groups. Is that right? Like, are there going to be other people around the area who are using these other places that we're not using in the morning?
I
I mean, the meeting spots.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this room was being used by the firemen. Apparently there's some kind of annual physical that happens, and then the pavilion was already reserved. I
So
believe.
what I was going to ask is has there been any thought about the parking situation? Because I'm guessing that the lots are going to be pretty full. Are we directing people, like there's probably going to be soccer games going on at the fields? Is there any kind of thought to that at all?
I think there's ample parking down there and they can always go to the other side of the building.
They can go to the other side of DPW,
Yeah, that's big open lot back.
back out. back
Yeah,
there.
so- and Matt, the other thing too is that we were considering, that were being considered to go to the Heritage Center. And we thought that was an issue for that because of the mulch, because of soccer. We thought the Heritage Center was not a good option for us because of parking.
Right, right. So anyway, just something to think about. I mean, if
Yeah.
there are 50 some people coming for us and then there's a bunch of people for other things, I have no idea. Like it might just be fine, might not even be something to think about, but just something to be aware of.
Okay, good thought. That's it. Any questions, comments?
I would just make this comment that I think that we assume the places that need to be done. And then we push off in some of the, some of the places that we don't normally get done. But if anybody sees a big litter area that we're not catching, let us know. I mean, because, we seem to be, we have our model.
Right,
We fit people into the model. But if somebody says, hey, we keep missing Duncan to, to the line that's going down all the way down past the arbors and all that kind of stuff, and it's really bad there. Well, we don't know that. So if
Right.
anybody sees something, alert us to it.
We
Right.
could put that on the website, couldn't we, John? Yeah. Please identify any, particularly,
It'd be a litter spotter. Let
Yeah.
the EAC know if you have a problem area, and we'll add them.
the other thing is we're not in any neighborhoods at all, so. I mean,
People need to pick up their own yards.
Yeah.
well, that's private properties.
Right, yeah.
yeah,
It's,
I mean, we go by houses on, a lot of the streets, but. They're generally the,
I'll tell you where there's a
Major
boatload
roads.
is. If you're at the Target intersection, that big intersection, and you take the ramp from McKnight up onto 19. And then there's Old Babcock on the other side.
Yep.
I spent like most of my time just in that little stretch across
Right.
from the nursing home.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, I pulled out a big commercial tire, truck tire and a sign, and there was all kinds of stuff back there. So that's it kind of.
you
blows
might,
that way.
you might win a prize for,
But I'll be at the
biggest
Daylight
item.
conference. You didn't have one back then.
I know.
Can I go put it back? I'll go to my garage.
Another thing I saw, I saw there's job posting for Parks and Recreation. That would be really helpful for us to have someone in town hall that can coordinate kind of all of these things. I know they're not gonna, make assignments and that kind of thing, but coordinating the venue and the police and the DPW
Can you
and
get me a list of things and I'll get that to Brian? Maybe collectively we can come up with a list of things we'd like to see them do to help
right,
EAC.
right.
I'm not, I can't speak for that, but I can ask that we put that in the job title.
That's a good idea, because the one thing, there's not a lot of succession planning in what we do.
Right,
So if all of a sudden Dave says, I've got to move to Rochester, New York, there goes all of our institutional knowledge about, he has all of this stuff, and it's not, there's four of us. And, it's always like, I'm getting tired of doing this. And then you get another second win and you stick with it. But that's the strength of this group. It doesn't run deep,
yeah,
and maybe we don't care. But if we do care, it doesn't run deep. And Dave is, he's it. He holds 90% of the strength of
Just
this.
don't let them go.
Yeah.
You never
You really
leave.
want to go to Rochester?
yeah, I won't move to New York State.
He's taking the sign out of his yard for sale.
Yeah, they don't have plastic bags in New York State, so I won't move there. Anyway, yeah, I don't know, for some reason this spring was you would think we would get better at this and it was just more,
We had such horrific winds though.
yeah,
That had to cause a lot of our problems.
anyway. Nothing else?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Okay. All right.
thanks,
thank you.
everybody.
Thank you for doing.
Board, I will see you on the 22nd. So I thought that was gonna be the big Earth Day as well. But
You guys did a wonderful job on that wall park. You know,
yeah, thanks all of you. I saw the photos. I'm sorry I was not around to help out, but those boys hauled out some big stuff. didn't they?
I mentioned this to David, we, as a town, are gonna go pull all of the two, there were 3 piles.
Mhm.
But the one smaller pile, the MTSA took out, and we should
Mhm.
thank them for that. And there are 2 more significant piles. And the town's gonna take them out, but they need to get some equipment in there to do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the skid steer, but that's working up on Grubbs Road. So we kind of had to fit that into our schedule,
Yeah.
so,
okay.
but it'll be done.
Has everything, I haven't driven down there, have all like the bags and the tires and all of that stuff from the guardrail
Oh,
and the
yeah, that was,
gate, that's all gone.
it was picked up and it was added to again, and it was picked up again.
All right,
Well, actually, I mean, that was the next one up. If you don't mind holding off a second on sustainability, we'll just hit your wall park.
Okay.
Item now, because that's, I was gonna say a big thank you to all of you guys. For putting that together.
Troop 344, right?
340, Boy Scout Troop 344 was there with Ken. That morning they did kind of the trail area. Myself, Jeff, Gary Redondo and his son Nate. From North Allegheny, who we call the A team. They were combed through that whole area between Wall Park and the gate, and then some of the area where that creek or drainage area comes down. Took a couch out of there and styrofoam couch. I've never seen a styrofoam.
Yeah, I
couch.
saw that in the description. What is a styrofoam
I
couch?
don't know.
That's for lightweights.
Nastiest thing you've ever seen in your life. let
It
me
was
tell
like
you.
maybe for like a dorm room or something like
Yeah,
that. I
maybe.
don't know.
Maybe.
Boy
I thought the
Scouts,
lazy boy was interested.
Boy Scouts did a wonderful job. I mean, they just, you didn't need to, they just went and did. I mean, that was really good.
But
Really
you,
good young men.
but you
Yeah.
weren't able to get the whole area down there, the party area.
You couldn't do that.
Yes.
We,
It'll be cleaned up. There's a big pile there.
Okay, okay.
That's what they need to skid steer for.
Ah,
And
gotcha.
we'll bring that down the hill, which is gonna help us with our trail on that end
Mm-hmm.
too,
Oh.
by the way, so.
Boy Scouts on my hand cart, they had to have had over 300 pounds of stuff on there.
They did a fantastic job.
So are there future plan, I guess the town's gonna go in there now, that's the next step and get the big stuff out.
Yep.
Do we need to plan more of these or are we?
What
at a
we
point
need to
where-
plan is construction workers. And we're still waiting for the tools to be delivered. They were ordered and never showed up, and we checked on it and for some reason. And said, well, they couldn't get them, so they canceled the order, but they didn't tell
Oh,
us, so.
okay,
So it's been reordered, so I expect them here. And then on the 20th is a meeting on how to build trails that Pittsburgh Trails is.
right,
putting
you
on.
sent that out.
So if anybody wants to attend that. But it'd be nice to know what we're doing before we do it.
That's April 20th or May 20th?
April.
April.
I
April
think I do
20th.
have that on my calendar. Yeah, Trail Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So it's virtual, right?
I'm not sure.
It's got a link here.
Yeah, virtual.
When does all that grass start? That grass that everybody hates?
Still weed,
Yeah, when does that
Yeah.
start coming around?
it is something that comes up slowly and then like in June or so, it starts to be evident and then if you get it in August thereabouts, you get it before it seeds and stuff. So the easiest way to wait is wait until like July when it's apparent and you can see where it is and kill it before it seeds.
We have a spray for it now. It's acceptable. By the way, I just heard back from Jeff. There are no facilities over at the DPW. And he said to use the Devlin facilities. They will be open.
Okay,
Okay.
that's perfect. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't do it now, I never remember.
Okay, is there anything else on Wall Park? At this point? Okay. Thank you again.
Well, I don't know if that's probably appropriate. MTSA went in there and they cleaned it up. 3/4 of the trail is done. I mean, it is really nice. They took all those mammoth trees that were the thickness of the height of this table,
Yeah.
and they cut them and moved them out of the
Oh, in
way.
the flat
And
roadway
so-
area.
Yeah,
kind of,
Going up
Okay,
on the hill too.
yeah, and they went up on the hill, some of the, where Ken and I were thinking about building it up sideways. We're actually gonna use more lower land now and build less on the hillside
mhm.
because of what they were able to accomplish. And they were about 6 guys down there for a full day with equipment and they did a great
Oh,
job.
that's great.
Yeah,
Now, is that entrance, and forgive me if I've forgotten this, that trail entrance is that technically theirs?
the MTSA owns that gate and that
Oh, okay,
entrance,
so
and
that's
that
not the
won't
town
be,
gate.
that won't be of the trailhead. The trailhead will be
Back
down
at the park.
at the park.
Mhm.
And then until we can get the permits and everything to build a bridge and come in from the other hillside, we'll just put a
You'll come
temporary
out.
trail along the guardrail. It'll connect right into that
Oh.
and then they can
No, I just always thought that gate was a town gate. I didn't realize that's
But it's-
MTSA.
MTSA,
Okay.
but probably they both have keys to it.
Okay,
That was used a lot for people dumping back in there, so that's why the gate,
Yeah, for sure.
Up
Makes
back
sense.
there.
yeah.
Well,
Well, we found a safe back there.
Yeah, that
oh,
was
you couldn't
interesting.
open it though, huh?
Oh, it was so.
Yeah, there was a
No, we
cave.
opened it.
Oh, did you?
There was nothing in it. Just dirt.
Hi,
Hi. Um. Okay, nothing else.
okay, sorry,
Wall
now
Park.
you're up.
Sure.
Jeff?
So the project is, it's in motion, it's off and running. There are, just to remind people, there are 12 different nodes, we'll just call them nodes or whatever that
Mhm.
is. Topics, and each of those have maybe 10 questions in that, and then you answer, A, B, C, or D, and you might get 2 points for, if you answer this, or no point if you answer this way or whatever. And so we're through 3 nodes.
Okay,
There are, there's different ways to look at it. One is that there's low hanging fruit, so you're just going to answer, we don't do this, and nor will we ever. And then there's other ones that we do this, and they need to be, there has to be uploaded information. So,
okay,
John's taking care of uploading information that will substantiate anything that we said
Okay.
yes to. And then thirdly, and we'll put this off to the side, we'll take a look at what we can accomplish. We say no to now, but we might be able to say yes to in the future. And that's down the road a bit. So
okay,
we're done with 3 out of the 12. And then John and I are meeting actually tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then we'll tackle another 2 or so.
oh, great,
Yeah.
great,
So we'll
Okay.
keep it going.
Hey,
excellent.
Jeff, just for your reference,
Yeah,
I think walkability is part of this sustainability. correct?
absolutely.
So they're in the process of actually building the sidewalk up on Route 19 in the flat.
Mhm.
So that's where Wall Park will connect into, and you'll be able to connect into the Commodore Perry Trail as well as the Rachel Carson Trail.
Right.
So it'll give us connectivity to Pine Township, Marshall Township. We'll have. Well, we go from the other end, we get that, the Ohio Township, and then. There's one else.
That's in Franklin Park.
In Franklin Park, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks,
Mhm.
Jeff.
Mhm.
Um,
John, you have anything to update to add to that, or are you okay?
No, I think we're good.
Okay.
I'll set the line.
all right, the next up was grant for trail building tools. Dawn's been under the weather, so she's not here tonight, but she said she had no updates on the building tools.
That's okay. We don't need the
You
grant.
don't, oh, really? You've got
Yes.
everything? Does she know
Purchase.
that? Dawn knows that? Okay,
If we get a grant, we'll get more tools.
okay.
Not very that expensive.
No, she says grant for trail tools is on hold for now as we explore other options, DPW purchases. So that's what happened. Okay,
We can wait forever.
okay. All right, we'll take that off the list. As far as solar program updates, I've been in touch with Tony trying to find out where exactly that program is. I think Tony's been having a little difficulty getting updates from what's his name? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, it dropped by too.
But yeah, Tony was hoping to meet with him either today or Friday to find out what there is left to do on this project, because I'd like to find out exactly what else there is before we decide if somebody needs to, if
Yep.
we need to have somebody take that over. I don't know, my impression is we've kind of wound down with this. I don't know how much else there is for us to do.
Are you ever wound down with this, though? I mean, isn't this something that needs to be?
Well, I mean, solar as a whole, I understand, yes, but with this particular Get Solar program,
Okay,
it had a finite time frame, which I thought initially was supposed to have been over in the winter time.
Mhm.
But I think they keep extending it, hoping that we can get a little bit better participation.
Mhm.
And
There were
that's
three
the-
businesses that requested an RFP,
Mhm.
so I think that's successful.
I think so too. I think they were hoping for a few more than that, but that's three that weren't going for this 6 months ago.
Right.
So
Mhm.
And its guy's name is Leo. but
Leo, thank you. I drew a blank on his name. So I hope to hear back from from Leo and Tony as to whether any more follow-up is required. Hopefully at least get a final reporting on where all of this ended up, so we can say what we were able to get out of this. But as far as solar in the town, I guess that's another meeting I have to have with Tony. I know he's been working closely with Brian. And so I'm not sure if there's more work for EAC to do. I've got to find that out unless you know more.
I don't-
I just know he's been dealing directly with Brian on a lot of that, so. Okay,
Just a comment Brian made to me when he was here is that they're cautious about it because the roof is,
Right.
may need repairs and,
right,
That's one of the advantages of this Get Solar program. The funding from the feds includes like 20%. I don't count me, and quote me on that, but there's money available for the roof, in the roof too.
right. I do remember that there's credits or something available. Okay, that's what I had for major project updates. Unless anybody thinks of anything I've forgotten. I know there's some things we need to get back on, and I'm working on that. Community outreach up next. Matt, do you have any update on the catch basin stickers or anything else with NA?
Not a ton, just little things here and there. So I talked to Jan Ellen earlier this week. She wanted confirmation on the dates for the litter pickup. The ACTs are scheduled for this Saturday. So a lot of students were already committed to that. So there was only one who was going to be attending this week. She was hoping to get more to the one on the 22nd. Some students have taken some of the catch basin materials to go out and start working on that. She's hoping to get more of the students involved. I guess the Interact Club got the information a few weeks ago, and then the goal students got their information on the 31st. So they're hoping to see that start to pick up a little bit more as well. I don't know if anybody else did this, but they had the careers conferences essentially. I did one of those, so was able to make some connections with a couple of other, I think a couple of the other gifted teachers and things like that too. So my hope is that over the summer or leading into the summer, I'll be able to put a little bit more of a push on to widening that net so that we have more than just one contact essentially at NA, try to get into some more of the extracurricular clubs, or maybe even start finding our way into the administration and things like that, so that we can start spreading. Like when this all started, we were talking about getting the green ribbons for the schools and things along those lines. So getting some more information about that, and hopefully expanding that net there. But at this point, that's essentially where we are.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Matt, do you know if the ambulance or fire departments or police departments had any representatives there?
I don't. The way it was set up was it was just like individuals had time slots. So I was totally on my own on Zoom talking to kids who were watching me on a computer. So I didn't get to interact with any of the other people who did any of the career talks.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, so did the decals go to goal students as well?
So that, yeah, well, it was, the information was given to them. Whether any of them have actually taken them and started using them or not, I'm not sure about that.
Okay, because I'd love updates if they find out that the kids have gone out and done it. Certainly like to know where they've been. It'd be nice to know if we knew when they were going out, so that we could let folks know. I don't know if they just handed them out and said, go do them on your own time.
Yeah. So what I did was I took those Excel sheets and those PDFs and turned them into Google Docs. So I have a shared document with them, and when they are doing them, they're filling in the information as to when that's occurring. So I can share that with you as well, so that you can get access to that and see when and where people are doing this.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you.
Can you
for doing
share
that.
with us what was given to the students?
It was the adhesive and the seals. I don't know exactly how many seals. Do you remember exactly how many we had?
No, but I meant, did they get a letter explaining what they were supposed to do?
Well, Dawn and I did a video,
Oh, okay.
and that was part of it. Also in the packets, there were information sheets that talked about how to put them on. That came with the decals and the
Okay.
adhesives. So I basically put, I think it was 4 bags together. Each bag had about 50 decals. I think 3 tubes of adhesive, the directions, some gloves, vest, and a list of places to put them. I think that's all that was in there.
And then we had the John wrote up some information about why this is important, and we sent that as well. So that was part of the kind of the presentation that they got as well.
Okay.
So, but we do have plenty more of these decals apparently. So if they could keep us updated, because we can keep refilling, I can put some more packets together.
Well, we have
if-
5,000 of these in the
I
pack.
had no idea we had that many more. I thought I had everything. And
I think they're
had,
doing it with like the last 3 years, aren't they,
Um,
of the paving program?
well, I did the last 2 years of the lists they got. So 2021 and 2022. And I pretty much complete list. I pulled a few of them off that were main roads that I didn't think were appropriate, but they should be plenty. And I actually put some maps together where I highlighted the roads so that the kids could just look at them and say, all right, I live here. These streets are near me. So hopefully that helped as well.
You have to give them an app.
Well, I'm sorry. I sent them the PDFs too, so they can, if they want the PDFs on their phone, they can blow it up. But sorry, I don't have any clickable roads or anything on a map.
I don't know.
So we do
Maps.
we do have some info on the sheet. The Forest Oaks Drive. Let's see, Forest Oaks Drive, Foxwood Drive, Valley View Court, and then they added Powers Drive, the lower section of Powers Drive. So That's the work of 3 different students.
Okay.
They've done, they did 3 on Forest Oaks, about a dozen on Foxwood. It says 6 on Valley View and 3 on Powers. So
Okay.
that's what's happened at this point. On the 10th, the 26th, the 10th and the 26th, those are the only 2 dates that they've gone out.
Okay, no, I appreciate that. I'm glad you set that up. That's a big help. Thanks.
Matt, we've talked about community service in the high school, and just one comment that came through as some of the kids were signing up for the litter. He said 15-year-old signed letter. He has a volunteer involvement requirement, at least 5 hours for an NAI health class. So I don't know if maybe your the contact at the Interact Club knows about that, or I don't know.
Yeah.
Just NAI health class is apparently has a requirement.
I can ask about that. I know that there are classes that have requirements like that. I think that I actually thought that the gifted program the goal had a requirement as well, but that may not be true. I just know that there's no requirement as far as graduation is concerned. So.
Yeah. And Jeff's nephew, apparently for the National Honor Society, has a requirement also for some service hours. So
Yeah, and that's that's what you and I were talking about a little bit, Matt, that when my kids went to Penn Trafford, they needed 30 hours of volunteer work, signed volunteer work to graduate. And, that benefited them and the community. And I'm just, I'm surprised that every school wouldn't have that, because people like litter and different things and different volunteerism would all benefit from that. Not something that we would take on here, but just, to put it in somebody's ear that, that's that benefits everybody for the common good. So.
Yeah, I mean, the school that I taught at in DC had that as well. My guess is it is a administrative logistical issue at this point. That would be my guess, because I'm sure that NA is aware that other local school districts have it, and they are because they haven't, setting up a program like that and tracking it and everything along those lines would be a pretty major shift. Probably school board would need approval and all sorts of things like that. So that's just a guess, though. I'm basing that on nothing more than just experience with school districts. But yeah, I mean, I think it's something definitely worth bringing up.
Okay, anything else for Matt?
Nope.
Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Next up, North Hills EAC updates. I've been in touch with Liz Spence at Hampton. She has offered their community park pavilions there for our next gathering. I'm waiting for her to come back with some dates. I gave her the dates of all the different organizations meetings, so those are days they can't have one of these. And I think we're looking at sometime in May, so I'll keep you updated. I'll have to nudge her again. It's been a week or so, we'll let you know on that, but we're working at it.
Yeah, good. May would be good. Mhm.
Yeah. Speaker series. We do have an event coming up. Tony is still following through with that. And I forget Greg. I'm sorry, I forget the name of the gentleman who's actually giving the talk, but it's a 2-part presentation. It will be at the Heritage Center on May the 16th. And I know Abby is working with Katie Coleman at the library, as far as those two normally work together to get the graphics together for publicity. So that's all ongoing. I haven't seen the publicity stuff yet. John, of course, I'll make sure you get it as soon as I do, so we can publicize that. But I think it's 2 parts. I think they're going to talk a little bit about solar from a more commercial standpoint, and then how that, and I guess other ways to electrify, is that the right word?
Electrify.
or your home, because there's a
Your
big
home.
push now to convert gas appliances and gas items to electric.
Right.
So I think there's going to be a part of the presentation is going to involve increasing the electricity as a power source in your home. So as soon as I get more information, will pass it on. And I'm assuming that the Katie at the library will take the registration, which is what she's done for all the rest of our events. So that's a big help. Any other community outreach ideas? Anything coming up that we've
Was there any,
missed?
any spring event that we normally? I mean, like Garden in the Park is,
It's only August.
yeah, August.
August.
Community Day, is that still happening?
September, yeah.
That's September.
September? Okay. Nothing springtime. I guess, okay,
Libraries having their gala,
right.
May.
That's one of the prizes that they're giving away is tickets to that.
Community Day is September 9th. But as always, if somebody is aware of an event that we should, participate in, either with the booth or just help publicize,
Right,
please let me know. I apologize, Ken. I know you sent me something while I was on vacation. Publicize county park trail stuff.
Oh, all the plantings. The
Oh,
trees that.
I
they're planting
apologize.
in North Park.
I
It's
missed that.
like we've in North Park, they've got a stewardship program that, mostly what they're doing is pulling out garlic mustard and barberry and stuff. But they're also initiating a program for the stewards to plant trees preemptively before the oak trees fall down and where oak trees have fallen down. And then there's other groups that are doing plantings in North Park, trying to keep North Park looking like North Park. And a lot of North Park is in McCandless.
Yeah.
And so Sam Shepherd had sent me all the plantings that they've done in the last year in the park. But we've got a program going now where areas that aren't appropriate for a group
Mhm.
that are more remote and stuff like that, that we're gonna start to get trees planted back in those areas so that we can maintain the forest.
Okay,
Can you get any credit for your sustainability project because they're planting trees in McCandless?
Yeah, I tend to look past it because it's North Park, but
It's
yeah,
McCandless.
yeah, it is.
1/7 of McCandless. is
Yeah.
North Park.
That's,
Might as well take credit.
yeah, I
for it.
like that. I like that.
do you want me to send you that?
Please do.
Okay.
Please do. Yeah, that'd be great.
that's a great point. Thanks.
Speaking of North Park, the Rangers are doing a litter pickup in North Park on the 22nd, so. If we have a flood of families with kids and that kind of thing, we might direct them over to North Park to participate in that rather than our roadside.
They usually have pretty big groups for that.
Sorry,
They usually have those are usually like companies send, a day of
yeah,
work kind of thing.
okay.
All right. No, thank you very much for that. Okay, then miscellaneous McMail tips. Just looking, I've lost track of any rhyme or reason as to how we've been assigning those. It's basically been, we've had people with ideas come up and I did the last one, so.
I did January because I'm Ward 1.
Okay, is that how we were doing it? Well, we're open now. We don't have word assignments anymore. So you did January. But then Dave's done one, I've done one, I think. Did you do one?
I did one and yeah, I made one up.
Has Matt done one?
Yeah, Matt did one last fall, I believe. You did the Leave the Leaves. So does it mean it's Matt's turn?
I did February as well.
Yours as well, okay. I'm looking at Jeff.
I can see that.
Can we recycle one from
Oh, absolutely.
last spring?
Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't do February. I'm sorry. I take that back. I'm looking at the wrong thing. I can absolutely do it. That's totally fine.
Okay.
I don't know. I did two. I don't remember when I did them.
No, you
so.
did do one, and it may have been like January, because you volunteered at a meeting to take one, plus you did the leaves in the fall.
And John, when's it due?
26th.
26. Okay, so if Matt, if you do this one, I'll get prepped to do next month's.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Does
that
anybody
okay?
have any topics that they'd like me to cover? Because I don't have anything off the top of my head, but I can come up with
Well,
something.
I mean, we have, it'll come right after Earth Day.
So you could do
Um,
littering and you could talk about when you put your garbage in the container, it is to be in a bag and it's supposed to be wrapped up. That way if it falls over, it doesn't blow everywhere. And, you know, you're
Did
not
it-
supposed to,
Did you just do that, though?
That was just in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just did that.
John added that in there.
They'll probably want us to do it every month anyway, because.
Yeah, really.
Thing.
Well, what's the springtime is like yard, garden, fertilizer, mulch.
I can look, I did bird safe.
you could pull out
Lawn.
invasive species like the, what's that, mulberry, no, it's that
Garlic,
Barberry.
Japanese.
barberry
Barberry.
and stiltweed and knotweed. Explain
Um,
what that stuff is and how it
Yeah,
spreads.
maybe the recent, I guess, rulings that Pennsylvania is going to ban some of those items. Barberry is one. It should be pretty, there've been several articles about that over the past year that I know I've seen.
Also
and-
talk about ticks.
There's always ticks.
This is a good time for
In
ticks.
fact, I did one on ticks, but I think that was 2020. I can dig up the one I did. I pulled the information straight off that Dare to be tick aware. We've done two different speaker series with them as well.
Uh-huh.
Cool. All right. Those sound great. I will definitely, that gives me a wealth of things to choose from. So thank you.
Okay, and if you want me to dig up, said the old one I did on ticks, I'm happy to send that to you.
Yeah, by all means, send them my way so I don't,
Okay.
well, either I can repeat stuff that's vitally important and not only repeat.
But I guarantee you, look at that, and if you go to the website, if they haven't changed it in a couple of years, most of it's very closely paraphrased. Because I think,
Jeff, I have one for you. You talk about the new wall trail.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not too soon, and stiltweed is another really good one, so, yeah, okay.
If it's still wheat's really not apparent until you get into. it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, I'm probably 2 months too soon.
Yeah.
That's probably more for July or June at the earliest.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good.
and are you still doing recycling tips? Is that still a monthly thing, or should I take that off?
No, I think we can,
You know, I have a question about recycling.
we can always do a blurb about recycling. I'm not
Are you
sure.
supposed to take the labels off the glass jars?
No.
Or off the cans? No? That's 70s kind of.
It's when you used to collect the labels for points when your kids were in school.
How we doing with glass? Has there been any catastrophes back there with
We
overflow and all?
we asked
this
them
other
to put the container over 4 feet more to the right. And we
To get out
moved
of
the
the mud.
signs and
Yeah,
put them in the middle so people can put it in on both sides.
right.
They were
right.
filling up the one side and going, oh, it's full.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, the other side was half empty. So now, if they think it through enough, they can go, well, maybe I'll try the other side.
Besides- before they drop it on the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah, last time I was there, actually just a couple days ago, it looked great. Like the end that is closest to the parking lot was very full, but if you walk down to the other end, it was empty. But there was also like there was none of that like glass on the ground type of thing that we had seen several months back. So that was great how they cleaned that up and have been keeping it.
Stanley, I almost got into fisticuffs with a guy down there because he was putting full boxes in. He said, excuse me, sir, but you ever think this through? He said, what are you talking about? Ever think how fast you're filling this up so the next person doesn't have any room to put anything? So what do you mean by that? I said, break your boxes down. So what do you mean by that? I said, what? And I took a box and I stepped on it. I said, you break your box down. You know, so it wasn't a very,
Maybe
we
we
might have
should,
made a good YouTube.
You tried.
I did.
Don and Judy can do a video on how to break down the box.
Yeah, yeah, put that on McMail.
No, nobody has.
Um,
email.
Yeah, include that in your recycling. Break your boxes down.
Yeah, we can,
We put a sign there too, that if you have excess boxes, you can ask for a second container for free.
right.
Okay,
I think we can come up with a blurb on recycling. Yeah, let's try to get into the habit of doing that every month, just to
remind
keep it.
people. That's great, thanks. EAC open position. Obviously, you all saw my email that Tony had to resign. So, is there any update on where all that stands, John? How long are we accepting applications?
Yeah, it's advertised. Let me just remind myself the deadline here.
I'm thinking it was
Had any
the end of
response
April.
yet?
Not yet, no.
I had
Deadline is April 28th at 5
April
p.m.
28th, okay.
had an interesting party and I sent the link out to them.
We're gonna announce it at the litter cleanup.
Oh, okay, that's perfect.
I mean. I'm looking for my replacement on the litter committee. Um. What was the date you said? April
28th.
28th?
Yeah, it's Friday.
So obviously, if anybody knows anyone that they think would be a good candidate, let them know. And I know we had the one candidate we interviewed
Last name.
last year. I don't know if anyone's reached out to him.
I think when it gets closer to the end of the advertising period, we can reach out and I mean, we could probably discuss internally whether or not he needs to be re-interviewed or not, because we had a video last year.
Right,
His answers probably haven't changed much.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that would save everybody some effort, so, okay. Thanks, John. And I just wanted to bring up too, that we are right now in the comment period for McCandless's new zoning code and Saldo draft. I guess the drafts have been approved by Planning Commission and Town Council. And it's currently posted on the website for review and comment. So I feel like I should have had more update to give you. I was on that zoning task force. Unfortunately, in the almost year we worked on it, it was strictly focused on the zoning code and the planning aspects of it. We did not get into the Saldo, which is the land development ordinance, which is more the engineering-y type things. That wasn't presented to us until the very, very end. And it really was not discussed with the task force. So I had hoped to have more information. I also have to go back and give it a closer look. I had skimmed it and did see that, I think I've mentioned to you that our landscape planting guide is mentioned in there. The updated stormwater ordinance information is in there. But my understanding is they didn't change a lot of the details in there. It was more of a reformatting type of an exercise rather than redoing all of that section. So I would encourage everybody, if you have a little bit of time, to look that up on the website. I need to do the same thing. I'm not sure when the comment period is up. Something's telling me it's mid-May.
See if I have that.
I can't remember. But there probably are some items in there that could involve us, maybe should involve us, that now would be a good time to make those comments.
May 22nd.
Okay. So I need to remind myself as well. So I think it would be a good effort if we could take a look at that. Okay, that's what I have. Does anyone else have topics for next month's meeting? I don't know. Have we gone anywhere with stream cleanups? Is that something that's, I know you're 100% on wall park and your trails, so.
No, but it's interesting. The landowners own the stream,
Mhm.
but the state owns the water. And there's state and federal
Oh.
rules relative to what you do in a stream.
Interesting. Okay,
And for instance, if a tree falls in the stream, you really aren't permitted to go remove that tree because it's nature. So, you know, and the rules have, I've got like 40 emails on this. It's just
Okay.
mind numbing. It's not worth it.
It's different from state to state.
Yeah, but it's crazy. And then they changed the rules. So
okay, so it's not as simple as we had hoped it would. be
no,
to
it's not
start.
simple
Okay.
at all.
If we can go down it with a kayak, then we avoid all of the landowner issues, as the state owns the water.
But what if
But you
there's a
can't
tree
get
across?
there's a tree in there.
But you can't put your feet down on the ground.
Okay, well, we'll kind of keep that in our back pocket if that comes back again, but I won't bug you about it. Okay, next up is your report, Jack. Anything else from town council?
Well, first of all, I want to say, we thank Tony, we accepted his
Yeah, thank you
resignation.
for,
And then we thanked him for his service to the EAC
Thank
and
you, yeah.
particularly in the solar field. He
yes,
did a great job and he'll be missed.
Mhm.
Also, I want to thank Ken, who took me over to the Tree of Heaven over on McCandless Drive.
Yeah.
And we marked the trees for Jeff.
Mhm.
And then we went over, we marked the Tree of Heaven that we found in the rain garden.
Okay,
And the town has had every intent of cutting the trees down
mhm.
and doing some work in the rain gardens. But apparently they've been pretty busy with a lot of trees that were blown over because of storms and what have you. And I'm not going to get into more detail on that, but so they do have plans on cutting those trees as well as fixing up the rain garden.
Now, do they have to do something special to cut those down because being invasive? Do they have to do something with the root systems or?
The tree of heaven will sprout from the roots. That's why when
That's
you
what I read,
cut
yeah.
them down, putting 2,4-D on them. Which is a plant herbicide, but you just put that on concentrate, that'll go down into the roots and prevent that.
Okay,
Jeff's aware of that.
okay.
So I don't know if we've talked about Tree of Heaven before. Have I heard about that before? That's an invasive tree that we have
Yes.
some places.
On McKnight Road, if you're coming from town going north, on the right-hand side after Arcadia, before you get to Ingomar. That's tree of heaven up there, and you can see how it's colonizes by coming out of the roots.
Oh,
And it just takes over. It provides
oh.
no food for wildlife, no cover. It just has a pretty flower in August, and that's why somebody brought it over.
It's got such a nice name though.
I know it
It
does.
stinks if you're wondering if you found a tree of heaven, just break the stick. It stinks.
Oh,
It's not a
Smells like
pleasant,
hell.
it's not a pleasant smell.
oh, okay, wow.
You have to show me this location. Is that private property or?
It's on that hillside. I'm not sure who owns it, whether it's state or whether it's whoever's house is up above it.
And how does that germinate? Through birds or through deer spreading it with their hooves or?
Originally just in the wind because it has very light seed.
Okay,
He's asking how does that get around? It has very light seed, so if somebody planted one in Swickley and you had a good windstorm, it's possible for that light seed to have been blown all the way over here. Once it's up and established, it will spread and make like a colony from coming up from the roots.
And there's one of these trees over in the rain garden.
yeah, you'll see the orange tape on it if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Very smooth bark, so it's easy to identify,
Huh.
like somebody teaches you.
All right.
Speaking of trees, the Christmas trees haven't been planted yet?
They're gonna be putting them down at Wall Park.
Oh, Wall Park. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, I think you mentioned that. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And Wall Park's got there's some work going on down there, or going to
Right
be
now,
going on.
The bid came in, there were 8 contractors that came and did the pre-bid, but only one bid on it, and it was a little high. So we had to cut back on some of the things we wanted to do, but they're gonna do all the earth moving down there. They put up a new screen for the tennis courts because they were getting a lot of crosswind when they were playing. They had asked for that, so we put that in. We're going to redo the basketball court to make that pickleball courts. And then maybe next year we can repave the tennis courts. Are supposed to put in a new driveway there, and then next year they'll put in the concession stand. So there's some things we wanted to do that we just didn't have budgeted for, and so we had to scale back, but a lot going on.
Is it, as you drive in on the right side, there's a big pile of,
Yeah, that's gonna be used on the trail.
that's gonna be used.
Part of that'll be used on our trail.
Oh, okay.
That's the old asphalt, the ground up.
Oh,
Millings, they call them millings.
Millings,
Asphalt
yeah.
millings.
It's great for trails.
You want some?
Need some for your yard?
I want a paved trail though. I'm one of those people.
Well, the idea
Because I'm
behind,
gonna be in a wheelchair one of these
there's
days.
2 pockets for funding. There's people that want trails that everybody applies for. And then there's people who have existing trails that they're looking for upgrades, and fewer people apply for that.
Hmm.
So once we have our trail, then we have a
Right.
higher likelihood of succeeding, getting money to make it a nice trail.
I was just kidding about the paving. In,
All right, thank you, Jack.
Oh my God, it's
We have Ellen with us again tonight.
Oh,
Good to see you.
yay.
the yay from the time put in. And of course, would have been here a few moments earlier, but I had my litter assignment on Old Country
Yes.
Road, to pick up and
Old Kumar Road.
and
We'll be watching.
fortunately, there's not a whole lot of litter there. So, but I did pick something up before
All
I
right,
got
cool.
here.
Thank you.
Per instructions. And thank you so much for doing the bird migration. And is this Matt on the?
Yes.
We're still looking at bird migration, if you want to throw that into May. And
Keep them up.
thinking of that, hey, the Facebook hasn't gone up about the bird migration.
That's
Okay.
my oversight. I'll put that out.
Okay, yes. And I had the new dates on that. I don't have the dates, but do you have the paper that I gave last week, or should I call you, or?
I think I still have it. Yeah.
Okay, cool beans. All right, so got the birds going, some really into watersheds, and I have a really lousy map here. So I'm sure there must be a better map somewhere. But I think it would be really nice if on the environmental advisory, if there was the a map of the watersheds in McCandless.
We have that.
Oh, is it there?
Yes.
Oh, and I'm looking all over everywhere for a good map.
We have a good map.
Where,
What's it under? Is it under
Where we have it.
stormwater or is it in?
All I know is I have one. So,
Oh, you have a good map.
I
It's
have
not
a
on the
good map, but
desk.
it's, I don't know if we have it on the.
no, I don't
website.
think we do.
That'd be part of the PRPs.
Yeah, I
Yes.
looked,
Okay, yes, the
Yes.
PRPs are on there, so at least
Yes,
there should be some.
Yeah.
you know what, I looked all through the PRPs and they describe. They describe them, but it's not a map. And then at the end, the map that they have is showing this. It has wonderful information, but it's like too much information
Mm.
to be able to see where the watersheds are. So
I think-
Well, I know we met with NEAC. I believe has that. Now, I'm sorry Dawn isn't here tonight because she is a watershed steward. So there's our contact right
Yeah,
there
that would be nice.
to get that information.
NAEC has I mean, they've done studies on.
You know what, and they've sent me beautiful CDs and it's mostly Pine Creek that they have.
Okay,
And
Okay.
they don't, and I'm in Pine Creek, so I know Pine Creek, but I don't, Lowry's is kind of off where it says. Like North Park Lake where that, I think that's where Lowry's
Yeah, it's in the
is.
bottom southwest corner.
Yeah, and Gertie's, I think, is in the south central, maybe.
We're at the very, very top of those watersheds. So They're
Right,
They're basically a little gully that is not constant flow in it.
Yeah,
Sandal Road. You know where the car wash is on Perry Highway? Right at the Ross line. That's, if you drive over there, you'll be at,
Crest Tire. You don't know where that is?
it's in
either?
my little part. Yeah.
and right,
So, like, this is
Perrymont
where- this is
crosses
where
at
I-
the very
I
top of
come
it.
up McKnight
Okay.
Road, I make my right on Babcock.
You know where the new sheets is?
Oh, that's, yeah,
Yes, and you keep on going down past that.
Right,
and which watershed is that? Is that Lowry's?
Gertie's Run.
Gertie's
Gertie's
Run.
Run.
It's a very, very, basically where the water tower is, it's the very top of Gertie's Run. It goes all the way down into that Nova.
You know, I'll have to look at a map because it just seems like that's kind of far away.
You could go to the
from-
Science Center, they have the big map there,
Do they have the watersheds?
all the watershed,
Oh,
right
the
on the
science
first
center.
floor, yeah.
So
Beautiful.
maybe we need to take a picture and then put it
I
on the
haven't
map.
been there in a while.
Or put it on the website, just.
Just, like when you get into all of that, when you get up on top of where the red belt is up by Treesdale. Everything on this side of that goes into the Allegheny River, everything on the other side of that goes into the Ohio River and stuff, so that's a big demarcation there.
Yeah, so stuff like that, I think would be nice for people to know.
Mhm.
And I think of it in connection with the zoning project too. Because when I hear the word modernization, to me, that means like we're looking at how the land is and where the water is, and we're just not
That's really not included.
throwing buildings in with Marshall Township. They have included on their zoning maps, the FEMA flood zones. Because, back in the day, we just threw stuff everywhere we figured we could
In-
construct it. But to
Again,
have
with-
some awareness of where's what is what.
with the water, stormwater management and things like that. That incorporates where all the flood zones are and things like that. That's like why the Showcase Cinema area and stuff like that can't be developed because it's in the floodplain. It's why where the bike shop is up on stilts, because it's in the floodplain. Those are all part of the planning process before you can get a permit to build anything.
Well, the new zoning
The new
map
bike
says that where that
Yeah,
floodplain is,
bike
they
shop
can put
down
a
there.
4-story building in.
And I'm under the impression you can't develop it.
Well,
You can, but you're gonna have to, like, the bottom section would have to be,
right, and that's,
certain ways.
and that's why, that rest area, that restroom that's.
Yeah, the
in
bathrooms
town
are up.
bus,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because it's in the flood zone.
And not only that, it's a brown zone,
meaning be-
brownfield.
Because of what was there.
They used to
previously.
have oil tanks from the 30s up until the 70s there. Matter of fact, one of them caught on fire. You could see it as far as like Oil City, they say.
Wow,
I remember them. I'm old.
But you remember, you didn't see the fire. That was
I
in the
didn't see the
30s.
Where were they, Jeff?
Do you know where the cinemas are?
Yeah,
The old McKnight Cinemas.
Yeah.
Right there off of Blazer Drive.
sure.
They had some really big, I think they were Sunoco.
So that's a Bronzefield too.
Yes.
Oh,
That-
okay.
That's actually part of that, some of the water tables underneath that has been affected by that.
Wow.
Okay.
so do I have anything else? And this probably isn't really the place to say it, but it's just one of my pet peeve. Thank you for sharing your pet peeve, Ellen. Anytime I can do that. But saldo, every time I read it, I think I'm talking about it, like, I'm wondering where the greens are, like, what do I put on my,
Salad, yeah,
on my salad? And it just would be easier. And I know that that's how it's being used. And
Above
the-
our pay grade.
But.
It's above our pay grade.
I know, but I feel like I'm not like. What is this?
And I think
Saldo
it's
thing?
just an easier way than saying the land development ordinance.
Suburban area land development ordinance.
Yeah, but I just feel like so that other people can connect. it.
And
I
it's
think
taken
that's what
me
it
a
needs to
long
say.
time to understand that there's a difference between zoning and that.
Drove
They
me
work
crazy
together.
that they never put the definition out there. I
Yeah.
didn't say, put it out there, so
I had to
people
keep
know
looking
what
it up.
is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had it
that's
written
what I'm
down
saying.
in my notes because I could not remember what it was.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah.
But I guess
bring up
you're
addressing, you know.
a
let's-
planning professional, that's just like second nature, but
And here's another thing that you guys don't have anything to do with either, so I'll just share with you. But when I did a quick look at the draft, and you know, when you have a draft and you get a document and every page has the word draft on it, this does not. And it would be like, why not just have every page say draft on it?
Yeah.
So that you know you're looking at a draft and not an approved document.
is it on the header or footer or
Yeah,
anything?
there's like a little red, maybe a 10-point type in red
Mhm.
on the first page.
Oh, no, it should be.
It should be on every
Yeah.
page that says draft, so. Thank you for letting me share that fee with you that you, whatever, but.
You gotta go
Judy,
talk
it's
to
on on the
Planning
task.
group.
Well,
for
the
that.
task force is no more, that their job was done. Back in February, and that's what I said, by the time they brought out the saldo, your favorite thing. It was our last meeting, and they said, well, here's the draft, but this is the end now, we're done. So it was totally a planning,
Probably doesn't say
process.
draft because it has to go down to Allegheny County and be signed off on by them. And that might be,
But it hasn't been approved by council yet.
that's correct, but that's why they advertise in the paper for 30 days and then they have to have 2 council meetings to approve it. And a public hearing
So then, fine, third pet peeve. Do you have time for a third pet peeve here?
for you, yeah.
You're the best. So listen, I know that the legal requirement is to have it in the newspaper for the 30-day comment. But, and I said this at the town council, when the stormwater announcement on the website says, you know, we're taking a comment period and it doesn't have the date on it, like you don't know how long that 30 days is. So that even if there's a link that connects you to the legal announcement, because I don't think things have to be legally done on the web right now, that it's still on the print, so you know what those dates are. Am I making sense?
You kind of lost me.
Okay, so you talked about the 30 days. On the website, I'm going back to the stormwater or the, not the stormwater, what was the one, the pollution piece that was just done.
Yeah.
And on the website, it said there's a 30-day comment period. But it didn't say what the date was that was the beginning for the 30 days.
That might be because the papers are really weird right now. It's not, you don't have Sunday through Saturday paper anymore. And we use multiple papers, like we use the Butler paper, we use the Pittsburgh paper. And so,
It would just be nice if there was a link to this,
yeah,
to those on, I hear what you're saying, multiple papers.
I'll mention that to Mr. O'Malley, but I'm not. I'm gonna say he's a pretty measured person and he tries to do things in great detail. Maybe John can add to this, but
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the situation. I'm looking on the website now,
yeah.
reading that. I'm trying to remember exactly why the date may or may not be in there right now. Because usually we try to have like the deadline for public comment.
Yeah, you would think so, but we can ask RJ now too.
Yeah.
Right, because this was for the
Write it
old
down.
one and, yeah. Right, well, we're done with most anybody else.
Well, well, thank you. I appreciate your interest
Thanks,
and
Thank
and-
you
and
for
sharing
all
your
that you
ideas.
guys do and,
Absolutely.
I'm glad I have an easy road for the litter.
Don't step on that bottle.
Okay, well, if there's no other business, do we have a motion to adjourn?
A motion to adjourn.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All right, all approved. Aye, all right, we are adjourned. Thank you, Matt. Good
Yep.
night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.